Scouser.
Another player who is up for talks of a contract extension, which, probably, in my opinion, splits the Liverpool fan base more than any other player at the club today. And I don't mean it in a divisive way, because I don't know that anyone has a bad thing to say about the man, other than he may try too hard. But the truth of the matter is, when it comes to Naby, I never thought we would get to the 5th year of his first deal without him signing his first Liverpool extension. So, Paul, the idea of Naby Keita getting an extension, and is this more about cover for this season, or could this be about securing a fee for a player down the road that you may have to sell?
I walked right into that one, didn't I? I said it's not like us to do. That very well could be the case, and where we just don't want one more player running down a contract. It could be. I think it might be a little bit of both, especially if we're not going to add more midfield depth this year. That very well could be. He's not an every game starter. He's a tactical start depending on formation and team we're playing. It's like one of those things. Do I understand it? Yes. Do I love it? Not really. And I definitely don't love it if it's over 150 a week. At anything less than that, I'm probably okay with it, but I don't know. That's a weird one. I love Naby. Let's be honest. He was our 4th best midfielder last year. And I think, to me, that probably speaks more about our lack of options and depth in midfield right now. But it is what it is. When he is on it, he is on it. I think sometimes he just forces the issue and tries to play outside himself, and that's his thing. But I'd love for Naby to just prove everybody wrong and come in and kill it. That'd be that'd be great for us.
Yeah, and whether you're a regular listener and viewer to the podcast like Michael Allen and Jamie, or you just come here to throw hate at us like Brian McCourt, who decided to come in and leave a comment like bunch of wanks, we appreciate it.
Got that right.
You'll know that I both defend Naby, get just frustrated with Naby. The thing to me is I would be interested to see in a 4-2-3-1 at times if he was deployed a little bit further forward, playing maybe in front of Thiago and Fabinho. If we wouldn't get a little bit of the playmaking, dribbling through the lines, he played a lot in a 10 role, basically off of a striker when he was in Germany at his high point at Leipzig. I don't think that's a reason to give him an extension. This to me smells like, and again, people that listen to this podcast regularly will know I at times am hypercritical of young Mr. Jones. And to me, this extension speaks more about where Curtis Jones isn't in his career yet. Because I think if Curtis Jones could be relied on to be your 4th best midfielder, they wouldn't be talking to Naby, and he'd probably be applying his trade somewhere in Serie A. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if he then was in the Serie A team of the year, because if you put him in a league where everything's a little bit slower and he has a little bit more time on the ball to take and find the pass and thread through the move and use his power, I think he'd actually get back to that top form he had in Germany. I just don't think it's going to work in England. So for me, this signing is more about recouping some of that. People forget he was the 3rd highest buy before Nunez of all these players that we had. So if Naby does resign, I'd say good on the club, because I do think they'll secure a fee. I just don't really feel like we can actually look at him any longer and think that there's still this big upside for him at the club. Do you think he has a role outside of the bit kind of parts and parcel points that he did this year, Paul? Do you see it improving and kicking on, or do you honestly see I hate to say it, but more of the same from Naby Lad?
I think he could have an increased role just because we have 5 subs, right? And but then again, we have Carvalho, who's going to be in the mix in some ways in that attacking midfield role. I imagine Harvey and Carvalho will want to be playing in. So, it really just depends. We keep coming back to whether this is going to be the typical 4-3-3 we're used to seeing, or whether we're going to see some sort of 4-2-3-1. Naby played that kind of strange left-sided attacking mid position you see in a 4-2-2-2. So, I mean, it's just going to come down to formation. But, I mean, I think with 5 subs, there's going to be more opportunities for everybody. It's just going to come down to how that lays out in terms of formation. I just, I'm with you with Naby in terms of what I think. I just don't know whether the way that he plays and his strengths suit him in this league.